To item C, the approval of agenda. Tiffany.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Do I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
I need to make a motion to amend the agenda. We're going to make an amendment to our personnel report by adding Julie Remschneider's resignation to the personnel report for effective April 25th, 2025. And then we need to add an action item C labeled as job descriptions. We are changing up jobs descriptions for our corporation secretary and administrative assistant, and our superintendent will elaborate on that when we get to it. So I need to make a motion to make those two changes to our agenda this evening.
And a second to add Mrs. Remschneider to the personnel report for the effective resignation of April 5th, 2025, and adding a action item C, which would be adding the job titles for the corporation secretary and administrative assistant. Have a discussion on that. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Passes 5-0. All right, moving on to board member and administrator reports. Do I have any principals that would like to present anything? Looks like we have one in attendance tonight.
All right, so not a whole lot of new information at Morocco, but leading up to our end of the year reading incentive, Friday's the last day for the deadline for that. Right now we have 82% of the school has met that reading incentive and will receive the trip to the movie theater. iLearn wraps up this week, and then we'll do makeups next week. We only have 2 third graders that have to take the second round of the iRead, and then we get to our 100% for the year. So that's exciting. Ending out the year, we just have a busy schedule, including Muffins with Mom, and then an end of the year school program on Tuesday, May 13th at 6 p.m. All the kids are performing their instruments, and then we'll do a kindergarten and 6th grade promotion graduation as well that night. Other than that, it's just testing and instruction and wrapping up the year.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is the iRead? I saw everybody shaking that.
iRead, so that is a mandatory test that our 3rd grade and our 2nd grade take as well.
What's it cover for the test?
It's reading, the iRead. So that determines if they move on to 4th grade or summer school. They get 3 chances to take it.
Perfect. Thank you. Dr. Razor, would you like to present anything?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. So we are continuing to dig our way out. We had a meeting last week with the leadership of the district, includes all the principals as well as the department heads of the various areas that make the district run and the corporation run, and really making sure that we have what we need to end the school year strong and to prepare for next school year. And we're still in what I would still call triage mode at this point, but we are starting to dig out, and I am very pleased to say that today we submitted the Form 9 to the state.
Woo!
And if you
Sorry.
were at the board meeting last time, that was the nastygram that we got from the state about forms not being filled out, which basically, I'm an oversimplifier, they had no how much money we had or whether we were paying our bills or what our balances were. So we were able to close out 2024. And the one thing I want to impress on is we're not just working on back work. We're working now day to day, trying to keep up on things as well, and are getting caught up. So eventually we'll be caught up and be moving forward. It's been great working with the team, and we're going to continue to move forward. We hope to, at the first meeting in May, which is our next meeting, actually give a financial report of kind of where we think things stand at the moment and really look at where things are. Things are getting better. I want to say that they're getting better, and we are getting our arms around things. So there is light at the end of the tunnel.
So at the last meeting we were asked, and I was like trying to follow up on people's questions in our public meetings about what the board was doing to be more transparent. I know the comments were made, some people said on social media about triage, and keep using that as a phrase in our conversations, and they were concerned about our triage process or what this board has stepped up and done. So for this meeting, I wanted to discuss just a little bit about the collective bargaining. For me, being on that collective bargaining my first year, Tyson being on that, it was a learning curve for us, but it was also a long drawn out process that I now, after being through it, realized that it wasn't as necessary as we had to go through it. I'm confident with our new board and with also with the teachers union, the conversations with after that, our process would be much more effective. With that being said, we still need to address our pay compensation for our non-certified, which we are waiting on to get our finances, which is what Mr. Fraser is bringing up for us next month. Also, by the work that Tyson and I did with the rest of the board's support, we were able to get that collective bargaining finished in a timely manner because, in my opinion, things that happened behind the scenes, it still would not be done. I'm very grateful for the union reps that we sat with, that we ironed it out within 30 minutes when we didn't have any attorneys, union reps, or anybody else in there, and I'm very grateful to them and to us as a board to be able to take care of that. We understand that we haven't been able to figure out or haven't paid back the insurance stuff, which we're working on that, making sure we get our back pay covered on that. We're also got our collective bargaining agreement to pay the stipend, which is going to be at the end of May, and we're also working on getting the back pay for the regular pay that we had been owed. So this board and Tyson and Tiffany doing all her stuff, with Sam doing her stuff, with John and Melissa, from the arguments and the statements that were made the last meeting and stuff that's made on social media, it's the farthest thing from the truth when you say that we're not doing anything as a board, or that we're blaming the administration for what happened. There's a lot of stuff that we haven't discussed publicly, but there's a lot of things that we've had to address and what we're dealing with that have made our decisions internally a lot tougher. We were able to get things resolved in a short time, which I think benefit us as a school corporation. By bringing Mr. Razor in, having Mr. Todd more involved in our stuff, has benefited us as a school corporation. So if anybody has any questions or concerns, don't go to the social media forum and just post things. Give us a call, shoot us an email, reach out to our representation. If you want to know what's going on, any one of us will pick up the phone, any one of us will talk to you. I have zero issues explaining to you what's going on in the school corporation, the legal limits that I can. So I just want to say I'm very proud of this group. I'm very proud of the people that we have working for us. We've really turned the curve, I think, and we're really going in the right direction. So don't believe what you see on social.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything?
You got it covered.
I just want to add when Michael states administration, it's not our principals, it was ours at central office.
Correct, our central
Because
office.
when you say administrators, it's kind of a wide.
You knew, and I'm sorry, yes.
No, you're okay.
It's the central office that we had which is completely been redone now, but you are correct. Thank you.
Yep. No problem.
All right, moving on to number 5, the consent agenda. For the executive session board meeting minutes of April 9th, the regular board minutes of April 9th, donations, ECA purchase request, field trip request, and the financial, claims and reports. Do I have a motion and a second to approve these?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion on any of these items?
I have a question. What is the ECA or EC?
ECA is like equipment and stuff for the
I
high
didn't see
school.
anything in there.
There wasn't. I left it open just in case somebody added something.
Thank you. And then the other question I had on our claims that Patty submitted us, that's what we're currently paying out, that we need to get paid out?
Yes.
Thank you. That's all.
Anybody have anything?
Okay, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Moving on to item 6, the personnel reports.
You need that? Tiffany, is that what you wanted this? Or somebody said maybe this one?
You want me to read it out loud?
Someone wants it read out loud, yeah, because I don't have a paper copy for people to see it.
If you want to do it, you can do it.
Okay, for our North Newton School Corporation personnel report on April 23rd, 2025, we have certified personnel recommended for employment: Barb Blasco at North Newton Junior Senior High, subject homebound, basic salary as outlined in the collective bargaining agreement, effective April 17th, 2025 to May 22nd, 2025. We have Karen Cunningham at the North Newton Junior Senior High School Credit Recovery Summer School as outlined in the collective bargaining agreement, effective June 2nd, 2025 to June 19th, 2025, and it says Monday through Thursdays. We have Sandra Edged at North Newton Junior Senior High for High School Credit Recovery Summer School as outlined in the collective bargaining agreement for June 2nd, 2025 to June 19th, 2025, again, Monday through Thursday. Natalie Zacher at the North Newton Junior Senior High School, the Junior High Remediation Summer School as outlined in the collective bargaining agreement from June 2nd, 2025 to June 19th, 2025, again, Monday through Thursday. Josh, I'm going to butcher this, Prosperous, North Newton Junior Senior High School, Junior High Remediation Summer School as outlined in the collective bargaining agreement, June 2nd, 2025 to June 19th, 2025, again, Monday through Thursday. We have Ron DeYoung at the North Newton Junior Senior High School, Summer Ag SAE teacher, as outlined in the collective bargaining agreement, June 2nd, 2025 through August 1st, 2025. Sabrina Tarter, North Newton Junior Senior High School, Summer Ag SAE teacher, as outlined in the collective bargaining agreement, June 2nd, 2025 through August 1st, 2025. For resignations, retirements, terminations, non-renewals of personnel, we have Ryan Mack at the North Newton Junior Senior High School band, effective June 2nd, his resignation. We have Emily Williams at the North Newton Junior Senior High School from special education staff paraprofessional, effective April 11th, her resignation. And then we have Julie Remschneider from the North Newton School Corporation as superintendent, effective for April 25th, 2025.
Do I have a motion in a second?
I'll make a motion
To approve personnel report as submitted. I'll second it.
Discussion.
on the summer jobs. What is the time? It just had the dates. Are they like they're all days, school hours?
Most of them's Monday through Friday, or Thursday, it said, right?
Yeah.
8 a.m. to 4.
That, yeah.
I don't remember that collective.
Already.
Yeah.
Do they get paid the same rates we currently get paid for that work? Is that how that works?
I am not sure about the pay.
Hourly pay.
Because we did the collective bargain. I just don't know that part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure you guys are.
This is the first I knew I was doing it.
You didn't sign up?
I did.
Oh.
I didn't know
I
I
think
was
John signed
accepted.
you up.
So I'm elated. Thank you for taking me
It's only $3.75 an hour.
summer adventure. More than I make snacks.
But the real work we do, yes. So thank you. All right, that's all.
Thank you.
Anybody have anything else?
Did you say you get snacks? Is that what was said?
Don't worry about food.
Just
Jesus are good.
Sugar-free pop, you know.
Maybe.
If there's nothing else, all those in favor, raise
Your right hand.
Who made that motion in
I
second?
did and John said.
I second it.
No, you're okay. I got sidetracked with snacks.
Moving on to item 7, action items. We have a contract for assistance with the Title I audit. I have a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to approve that pending the.
She just told us.
I will second that.
Okay.
Dr. Razor, would you like to present that?
Yes, this quite odd. We are getting audited for the second year in a row, actually twice in the same year with Title I, and reason being kind of to what Sam talked about earlier, we didn't respond to the first audit, which you must do. So now we're getting re-audited again. And just to make sure that we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's, we're bringing in Mozzie Education, whose president is a man named Nathan Williamson, and he ran the Title I office for the IDOE for several years. So very knowledgeable, and he's going to help and make sure that we are in complete compliance, because we get a lot of really important funding from Title I that helps a lot of our most at-risk kids, and we need to make sure that we don't jeopardize that.
Anybody,
Any discussion on that? No? All right.
all those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 5-0.
Item B, the Apple one-to-one iPad purchase.
Greg, you want to present that?
It's motion and a second to approve.
Okay, yeah.
All motion to approve.
Which was this before?
Different.
The iPad.
Okay, Mr. LaFoon.
Okay, so I think about a month ago, I presented with the plan to go with iPads instead of Chromebooks going forward. This is the follow-up meeting with the official lease document, with the pricing, with the numbers that say this is what it'll cost. Can we do it? So just first of all, I wanted to show you guys the case. I don't have an iPad because, of course, it's dependent on the generation that we're getting. But flips up, of course, has it there, has the touch screen, has the touchpad, has the keyboard, closes up, so it's I saw the case like that when it's stored there. So there's a little adapter here, plugs in there, and then there's 2 set screws that you set in there that you can't.
How do they charge it from that
And
point?
then from that point, they plug in on the case itself and charge there. It also has, which the new iPads don't have the headphone jacks. You do have the headphone jacks back, where helps with some of our students that require those.
Could you just please turn around and show the people in the crowd what we're talking about?
So traditionally in our iPad cases, there were always just some hard shell case around. And the reason we went with Chromebooks about 4 years ago, 4 years ago, was with state testing, the issue of not being able to use Bluetooth keyboards and stuff like that. But you're originally iPad. Now they have it built in when there's no wires that students have to connect or work out with Bluetooth. It plugs in there, secures it, and then it's a hard case around, so you have your screen protection links in your bag, that type of thing, your carrier. And they never have to take it out of the case where they're charging, it just passes through. So it has the same feel of the Chromebook. So instead of being basically a browser with a keyboard, you now have all the functionality that the iPad. For the younger grades, there's really the beta. Do you standardize on a case, or do you get a case more tailored to the younger kids? Now, some districts are moving to giving second graders a keyboard, so that's not the first year when they get ready to take testing, to have any exposure with it. The nice thing with these is once you put it back, it turns off, and you're back to a traditional tablet. So I think a one-size-fits-all kind of works in this environment with the case. Makes it so we don't have to keep track of 2 different kinds of cases, and we have different enrollments each year of dealing with different cases. So that's kind of the overview of the case. So
How does it prop up? Like, so how does it, like, is there a backing to it?
Yes, it's.
Barry's over there. I got you.
Yeah.
We have a younger in the crowd.
Sorry for putting you on the spot.
No, that's fine.
Ah, okay, there we go. That works. Okay.
I may be getting the cart in front of the horse too as we do this, but the breakage rate that we have on iPads right now is a little under 2%, whereas on a Chromebook is where we at 38%.
33%.
So 33% of everyone has had some damage, much more durable just on face value, and then they're inside its own sort of, very protective.
So the only thing for me, Greg, 'cause I know you spent an hour on this, and the dollar amount hasn't changed, right? Still 400,000?
Well, it is.
Oh.
It is for the student part. It's for the student part. So I'm a big fan of making sure teachers have the same type of environment as the students, because they're wanting the students to do things. They can mimic everything that the student does then. So we included the staff device. So I brought
And
it
the
up.
original proposal.
I'm just talking about students at that point.
So my question for you, is it still a zero interest loan?
Yes,
All right, it was 400-some thousand, correct?
that's what it was. Yeah.
Now it's
405 and
405, okay.
Yeah, now it's
1250.
So like Mike told us, and they told us all, with Apple Repair,
Mhm.
the turnaround is gonna be 90 days from your previous
Right.
experience.
Yeah, so we're not waiting for parts. They send you a brand new iPad.
And then the last question I have, I guess, for the future is $400,000 one pipe, thank God we're only paying monthly. Is there a way that we, in the future, can plan every year or so, so we're not on a 4 years, you replace $400,000 equipment? You just do it over every 2 years.
You could that, but
If
as
you
long
stick
as
with the iPad.
yeah, if you stay with that though, and you stay with that, if Apple keeps doing the same thing, you're basically doing that since except you're getting in. You're buying the 1,200 at once.
But is this what I guess what I'm getting is, for me, is this a long term every month for the next 20 years? We're gonna pay $12,000. We never.
Yeah, well, yes, in a way, but after year, I guess to Greg's point, if there's two different theories of this. There's one, do you replace a fourth of your fleet every year, or a fifth of your fleet every year? Well, in this case, since we're all using the same thing and we're getting it at once, after, year one, you're paying for this set. Year two, you're paying for this set and this set. Year three, you're paying for this set, and this set. Year four, this set. We're just cutting out the middleman and doing it at once. But with the Apple Care and I think they will. I don't think Apple's going anywhere. You'll just rotate out. And the other nice thing about these is a Chromebook used is literally $50 might be a good deal for it. You can resell, because that's the other thing here. It's set up like a lease, but it's a lease to own. So when it's at the end of 4 years, we own all these iPads that we can turn around and then resell back to Apple to knock down the price for the next
You're
year.
estimating in the next 4 years.
Yeah.
Instead of coming up with 405,000 and maybe 390. I think you had those numbers.
Right. Basically, you would have that whole fleet that you would be trading.
And then-
So, well, just to follow up on that, we got some preliminary pricing of the iPads that we have in stock, that currently used. And we're getting the estimate there without any negotiating. I don't want to do too much until we know we're going this way. No reason to get the cart before the horse, but they're $117, right? 117 was the price.
137
Okay,
for
better.
the nines.
Okay, so $137 per unit that we have in stock already that we're trading. Whereas the Chromebooks we got
$10.
$10.
So that's almost half of a new purchase,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good deal.
So the idea then is on your last year,
rotating.
then
The last question I have, and I brought up the last one, because I'm, I just, thank God it's not $400,000 up front.
right.
On these Chromebooks that we don't like, what are we gonna do with those? Are we going to, like we talked in the last meeting, are you gonna give those to, maybe keep some of them for some administrators?
Right. So we'll keep one
Summer-
major thing is
summer
subs,
school or whatever.
and we would keep but basically Harry's idea was to keep all the teacher ones, because those are
The nice
the
ones
nicer
that haven't
ones,
beat up.
and they haven't been
I have
beat
a
up.
brand new one that I'll give you.
So keep those for those function things where we make sense, because it doesn't make sense on those type of gear devices to only get $20 or $30 on.
No, I mean, it's better, in my opinion, if for $10 or $20, keep them as long as we
Right,
can and
exactly.
use them for whatever we can.
Right.
Summer schools, whatever else, youth programs.
And to Greg's point, that is a big issue in school districts when you have a sub come in and, teachers don't want them logging into their computer, or they can't. To be able to hand them, here's this, you can take attendance on it, you can.
So basically we added 120 devices, but obviously that's gonna take that number up.
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize until we started looking at it is we have a Mac Mini from about 17, 16, whenever we first got them.
Yeah, it's been
Or
only about
14.
14.
But that basically is a local server that downloads all the apps that we use so that when we're pushing apps out on a device or something like that, it's pulling it locally rather than use our internet drainage to constantly update the iPad. So that's in there, but it's like $699 of the grand scheme.
Just take that out of your face.
And then we added Logitech crayon styluses that work with the iPads for the teachers, so they can do digital annotations, handwritten notes, and type of sketches. And then the other thing was Apple Professional Learning. So again, we can always get technology, but there's no training. For
How much training do they give us in the
first time?
Is it a video training?
No. So this one's going to be three-day on site where they come in the classroom and work with
Yeah.
how to use the iPads effectively in the classroom.
That passed down the training into the students.
Obviously, students nowadays
Nowadays,
probably use that better than most teachers. I mean,
Possibly. I don't know. I'm not
I'm not
surprised.
saying, I'm not saying, but Melissa had some questions about trying to use those, keep them more in those schools.
Yeah. Now, but at the secondary level, they've almost replaced books.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, the other thing that's really good about these is it's much easier to track, kind of like Find Your iPhone, or Find My iPad. They're much easier to track. The other thing, too, that Greg and I were talking about is one of the places that they get lost the most, just I've seen this everywhere, is actually in the school. I mean, my son left his everywhere, all over his school. And in the schools, they're exceptionally easy to track. Like it's in this room, in this corner, and it's right there. So that should help with that. And then again, like I said, the damage to these, they're very durable. So and then there's two free repairs each year on the AppleCare anyway.
Since we got the case.
So
Yeah.
I had a lot of questions about the repair costs and another subject we got
About that.
parents covering. How do we do that for these apples since we have two? You brought up the two
Right.
free
Yeah, the
repairs.
two for.
I want
wanna
to
make
make
it
it at least as cheap as possible for our parents and our schools.
Right.
Obviously, things break and obviously things happen. But what is the way we can deal with that?
Got kids too.
So I'm gonna have you speak more on that because you deal with it daily. So on some of your ideas, because you have the other part where it's like, obviously it's on public meetings, so we're kind of saying it now, but getting that out, like, oh, there's two school that's have to pay for two repairs.
Correct.
Right.
Now I can break it for 2 times, that type of thing. So the biggest thing is trying to make sure that they understand that it's
Well,
it's
maybe-
advice, that type of point. But obviously the part is you don't the repair cost, then you don't know per se what the cost is until you repair it.
But I mean, when the Apple repair, is it like a Dell Fleet Care where they cover everything?
Or if there's somebody spilled liquid on it, they're gonna say, we're not gonna cover that. Then
Then
we
we
go
go
back to
back.
parents and tell them to do that. What is our policy? I don't know. what that
So
looks like.
that's the thing. I don't know if we've had a set policy to change it.
Well, we
can-
Right, exactly, but that would be
Yeah.
Because I mean, you have, every one of these kids are gonna get this, right? Kindergarten up.
Yep.
So kindergarten, I would give a lot more grace than, 12th grader, because they should be able to handle it.
Yeah, well, in K through 2, these typically do stay in the classroom more. You know, they make it sit home if we're expecting snow or, inclement weather coming. I'm not saying that something's not gonna happen. It's, you will have one getting broke, but the odds of it happening a couple times a year, I think is gonna be pretty low. And they're not really easy to remove from that case either, because of the hard.
screws in there.
Yeah.
But I found over the years trying to break an iPad, even not in a case, was difficult for me to actually do it. So most of the time, especially in a case like this, if it's truly going to be broken,
Most of the time, that's because it's broken because the student intentionally leaving it somewhere on a car, they drive down the road, stuff like that.
Well, if we don't have a policy.
but it's something possible.
Yeah.
But something to talk about. Some ideas is like it's free for the first one, a deductible on the second one. Trying to find some, give some, I guess you say, What's the word I'm looking for?
Skin in the game.
Yeah,
That's right.
basically,
But
yeah.
yeah.
Because in the old
Old
days,
days, skin in the game was
book was
book was
50
$50.
bucks. Skin in the game now,
I don't know what-
what did you do?
Do
Buy
buy
myself
myself.
$600, so 115. It's a big difference skin in the game.
Right.
And for me, I just want to make sure, because it's all taxpayer money.
Right.
They're all paying for it.
So,
And they also, I know they took the book funding away from parents and stuff like that, but we get money from the state. Part of that. So a lot of our funding that we use covers this expenditure.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure it's balanced. I understand the part about
Oh.
skin in the game. It's very important. Parents need to be holding their kids accountable, just like we have to, but I want to make sure we have some kind of policy in
Right.
place that everybody understands what they're getting into.
that's perfectly understandable.
About the policy, I got that. I touched base with Mrs. Gonzi earlier, and she had a few questions as far as if it's gonna be coming out of the common school loan.
We can use the common school loan for it. We can also use, what we're gonna do is we're gonna evaluate.
When we get.
Yeah, we know we have the money to cover it confidently. We just want to see where is the most wise place, because we could use common school loan. We could use textbook money that we have.
Okay,
So
okay. When it comes down to the common school loan, do we know, who's applying for that?
We do, for what Julie told us. And the common school, correct me if I'm wrong, but all that is money that's paid up front from our education fund at a 0 interest rate.
yes.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a grant where you go to the state and say, give me X amount of dollars for this project, and they give it to you once it's approved, and then you're shorted that money from the education side. So, because Julie just told us we just finished our last loan
Yeah.
from the school.
Mhm.
And
It just rolled off.
And then the other thing that I was shared with is, since this is structured as a lease, you
Okay,
can use debt services for it. So that's one of the things we wanted to evaluate, that because it's very counterintuitive, but it's good for a school district to have debt that they're paying off.
Mhm.
You know, debt's a good thing because it keeps your borrowing limit high, as long as you're paying your bills. So.
And for me, when I told Julie at the time, I didn't think so.
My thought was taking the least amount of money from our education,
right,
you
Yeah.
know, saves money that we don't have to then, you know, we're transferring over to operations, so I'd rather pay it out of operations, make sure that we're, you know, as long as it's a zero interest loan,
that's the whole part. If not, you have to go to the debt services, which is a 0 interest loan from the state.
okay.
I know there's.
Another way we're gonna figure that out.
Anything else, Ron?
I'll make a
I'm a
motion
motion to approve
the
the contract that we need for
our finance for 2025, 2026.
We already
We
have
have
a
that,
motion
yeah,
in a
Tyson and
second.
Tiffany, yeah, good.
Yep.
Excellent.
All right, nobody has anything else? All those in favor? Raise your right hand. That's fine.
So
So Greg, again, get him in time?
They told me, yeah, now, the biggest thing I was kind of worried about too was the cases. Was those, they were worried those would go up because of the tariffs. So,
They just need to start building over here. Don't worry about it. Tariffs. Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Okay,
now we have
Item
item C,
E,
which is adding the
job titles for corporation secretary and administrative assistant.
We have a motion and a second to approve that.
I make a motion to approve the creation of administrative assistants and adjustments of corporate secretary as presented by the superintendent.
I'll second it.
Dr. Davis, would you like to present that, please?
Sure. We have recently been holding interviews for the position that was called corporation secretary. And one of the things that we did is we advertised for the position as it currently stood. And if you've seen a job description before, they are typically not 3 pages long. And this one was, and had 45 duties assigned to it that needed to be accomplished. So after interviewing some really good candidates who fit a certain number of the qualifications, and then for others who fit a certain number of qualifications, we had a discussion with the board committee that was helping the interview, and what we've decided to do is make 2 positions, and I'll give the rationale behind that. There's really 2 main roles that this position was playing. One was the secretary for the corporation, the person who assisted the superintendent and the school board and kind of served as the welcoming person or the switchboard for the school district. And that's a very different skill set than the administrative side of this position that I believe started getting added on over time in the previous position, that's dealing with more human resources, compliance, transportation compliance issues that we have that are all rolled up into that. And what happened is the corporation secretary left and nobody knew how to do what she did. So part of the idea behind 2 positions as well, as we can cross-train the 2 positions where there's redundancy so things can keep taking place. So I am recommending that we create or keep a job title of corporation secretary with more responsibilities that are in line with what traditionally people think of for that role, and then create another position called administrative assistant that helps with the more compliance, human resources, and the other forms and manage things that we have to do for the state.
Are we going to have the administrative assistant help out with our
Yes. Yeah, the other thing that we've discovered now too, again, starting from ground zero, is an extra set of hands would really help as we're working on this. But over time, again, we can still create that redundancy because we don't ever want to be in a situation where we're left with nobody knowing how to do anything.
Well, I appreciate your effort. Maybe sit with you on those interviews and get that solution.
Any discussion?
Discussion?
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes 5-0. Now come to public comment
Portion of our meeting.
Mrs. Zach, are you the one person?
One and only.
To sign it?
Okay, were you ready for me?
Yep, you're fine.
Okay, I just heard you say my
I
name, so I started walking.
and I didn't finish it.
No, that's fine.
Michael
Jason.
James.
My name is Natalie Zacher, and I'm here to represent, well, actually, excuse me, I teach special education at North Newton High School. I'm working with 9th grade and 12th grade this year, and I'm here to represent all children in special education, kindergarten through my sweet seniors. I left at the school board meeting last time I spoke, and within 1 hour of me working in my classroom the next day, the superintendent was there to talk to me. And I want to say thank you. That really made me feel awesomely good. And I want everyone else to understand that this is still a very trying matter. And we are not, I was kind of reading over the triage, what do you need right now? There's a lot of things that I need, and I only have 3 minutes. One thing, like the biggest thing I felt driving here tonight, is that we need to celebrate the high school teachers that are helping make this kind of okay for our children that have IEPs. They are going above and beyond in so many ways that it melts my heart. Mr. Schlueter, I could go on and on and on. All of the people that help us on our hourly operation, when Sandra and I are the only 2 people in the special education department in April, basically. Emily was here for a teensy bit. I just, yeah. So that being said, I just celebrating the teachers. What do we need to do right now? Okay. And that kind of goes back to the social media. Maybe not follow the negative things, but I sure hope somebody celebrated what I typed earlier this month.
I don't watch social
Right,
media.
right. So I understand like perceptions, and you maybe don't want people to do that, but boy, do I love what Catherine Hines types. And so we have to like just do a shift. We need to make it a positive shift. One of the things Dr. Razor and I decided for this meeting was I would pick one day of what I do from the minute I get out of my car until I leave. And so I have a copy for everyone that will explain what I do. This was from today. And hopefully this will be, oh, I'm sorry. This is exactly what I did, except for I forgot to write some things because I was busy. And I had a volunteer come in for a period of the time that stepped in. You can read as you go. That was generous and volunteered. I don't know what else to do. ESS has now got a spot in their system that says paraprofessional, and a substitute teacher can choose that as of Friday. So we're very hopeful. There was one gal that chose it yesterday, and she did come in and she did help. Now, keep in mind, when we get all of the new people that are coming in from the substitute place, we have to train them. They are not people that know what we do. So you'll see, like even in the beginning today, I was alone for the first 5 minutes of class until Mr. Giza came. So it's very, very trying. And the children in our corporation deserve better. And I've been asking since January, and I'm not going to stop asking, because I do believe that the quality of education in the special education department should be managed and taken care of. And I mean Lincoln Elementary, Morocco Elementary, Lake Village. I think we can all do better. And that's part of the whole triage of what needs to go on. And yeah, I wrote it our provisions all need to be met daily. It's not just something that I think is a great idea, because I know it's a great idea, but it's the law. Okay. And unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. And that's written by Dr. Seuss, one of my favorite authors. So I'm just here to ask you to help us. I know we're making great gains, and I think that this is a fabulous approach with Dr. Razor, and I'm going to keep being positive, and I'm going to keep posting positive things on social media, and then hopefully have everything come into place. We have to start the new school year with MTSS. We have to do better. We just have to. These kids are counting on us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Dr.
We discussed this last meeting, and I talked about it off the side. My question is getting the paraprofessionals and the subs. Was it 3 meetings ago we had the company in here that does our contracting, and they were supposed to get back to us insurance and rates, because we discussed at the time, instead of our paraprofessionals and our subs were being paid $12, that they worked one-on-one, they got 13, that was. Well, we had come up with an idea amongst us board members was, because we were gonna have to pay that company $17.90, and then they would pay them 13 something. Have we figured out, or have you been able to have a chance to talk to them? You probably haven't, everyone else, but if we can't get the paraprofessionals or the subs in here, what we need, is that company providing us this service? Are we getting them, or should we start looking to pay these people, like we said, 17 directly from us and no insurance? So we have more control over who we are, because training people is an expense in itself.
One of the things that we're hoping to evaluate once we see how much money we have, and know is just again, at first blush, I would think you can attract people, keep people if you can pay people more. And if you're losing the money through the middleman, and again, I don't want to talk out of school, but I don't know how they're going to find them if we can't find them.
Well, the two differences, from I understand, the finding part would be they can offer insurance, and they can give them a few more hours.
Yeah.
we can't offer that insurance. We can pay more per hour.
Yeah.
So it's a toss up of what that individual wants, and I want to be able to, the board offer that to you.
Yeah. And that's where we want to, we're not in a position yet to evaluate whether we could, because in a perfect world, both things would be true. We could pay more and offer the insurance, because we're not talking about that many more employees. So I'm hoping maybe not the next meeting, but the second meeting in May.
Has that company reached out?
They have. We had a meeting and it had to get canceled because of other things, but yeah.
So we're looking into it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I will be available if you have other questions or you like to come tomorrow and volunteer, help us out in our classroom. That would be great.
Motion and second to adjourn the meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Seconded.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.